this is X again. Just giving you a bit of an update on progress on Skybase. So the farm hasn't changed very much, so I'll skip that. I did get around doing the second boiler, so that's it there. There's enough wood supply I found that I could actually make enough charcoal for 2 boilers. Unfortunately the steam oven wasn't quite fast enough to handle the charring of enough wood for both boilers, so I put in a second oven up here. So when charcoal is required, they both craft charcoal, but that way there's enough for both boilers. They run full ball all the time, 24/7. This second boiler primarily only feeds the laser drill. All of its power, pretty much at this point in time, all of its power is just running straight into this precharger here, to basically supplement the power from the other boiler. The other boiler still feeds these 2 hardened cells, which are then fed into the prechargers, so it's still only feeding 800 RF per tick into the laser drill system. So this second boiler pretty much supplements that. I think I expanded this a little bit. I've got a furnace here that let's have a look. Let's see what he does. I know he does mud into mud bricks. Oh yeah, and ember as well, that's right. So he's doing that. I've got sand automatically going into this induction smelter, and I took out the Ardite and the Cobalt because I've realised that you can't use sand to smelt those. You've got to use pyrotheum dust, and I do have a thing over there that auto-crafts pyrotheum dust, but this thing is being filled with sand, so I'm going to need a second induction smelter for that. I put a rock crusher here so that I could crush firestone as needed. I only really needed to do one. I use it to heat this to full power before I put the charcoal set up on it. So yeah, so I do have a firestone that's half used somewhere. This stuff here, I don't think this was here when I was recording last time. So this is this auto makes ash into coal from the ashes from the sludge boiler. It's one of the byproducts of the sludge boiler. So basically it's a never-ending supply of coal is being produced out of that. And because there's so much, I have it making blocks. And this one here turns to clay, also from the sludge boiler. I got masses and masses of clay. It's ridiculous how much clay comes out of that thing, so have it making clay blocks just to save space. And this turns the mud bricks from the furnace over there. Yeah, the sludge boiler makes mud balls, similar to the clay. So yeah, I have the furnace turning the mud balls into mud bricks, and then they get turned into the mud blocks here. And then because I ran out of, at the time I didn't have ender pearls for more autarkic gates, so I set up this thing. I had stuff for the Project Red tubes, so this is these are called routed interface pipes, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. And they basically connect to an inventory, and you can set up chips in them. So I've got this item extractor chip in here, and that does basically the same as same sort of thing as what where's an example? Yeah, here we go. Here's one over here, I think. So under here, that guy, there we go, extractor module. Okay, so same as the logistics pipes extractor module, same sort of setup. You put one of those chips, one of these extractor chips in a routed interface pipe, and it will extract items. The good thing with these pipes actually is that you can, it's only the one type, the routed interface pipe. Once you've got that, you can put 4 upgrades in straight off the bat. You don't need there isn't different tiers of them like there is with logistics pipes, so that's kind of cool. They're slightly more expensive to make them, but than like the basic logistics pipes version. But it's good because you can straight off the bat you can upgrade it heaps. And this cube is pretty cool. I think it's slightly different to make it. You need panes instead of glass blocks, but you get 16 with each production of them. I kind of like the little glowy effect that the items have too. It's pretty cool. Okay, so there's that. There's also this. This is my dark room. It's like a mob spawning room. Not so effective right at this moment because it's nighttime. But what I did do is I lit up a lot of the area around this whole mountain. Used to spawn like 24/7 because it's dark pretty well all the time underneath. So I got rid of all that darkness out to a bit of a radius. So it does spawn stuff more often now than it did, but during the day it's a bit more effective. But you can see in this, I've got the grinder hooked up to an ME chest, and there's a fair bit of stuff in there, so it does get some things. Yeah, so there's that. And there is an auto spawner, an MF auto spawner in the middle there. It's hooked up to, yeah, it's on top of that, so you can't really easily access it, but I put a tesseract underneath because originally I had a fluid duct in one side for the mob essence requirement of it, and a power, one of these power hardened energy conduits in the bottom. So, and the reason I changed that is because having something in the side with a cover on the top still let light into the room, so it meant that I didn't really get as much in the way of normal mob spawning in there. It pretty well required the auto spawner running all the time, which isn't that great because it meant I didn't get as much of the other stuff. So so I changed that, and yeah, basically to get around that, the tesseract is set up to provide the mob essence and power required by the block, and I just have power going into another tesseract and mob essence into that side, and that just sends it to here and this receives it. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it seems silly teleporting it like one block away, but it just means I get more product overall, so that's kind of useful. This thing here, I set up a trash can here because I didn't want to fill this thing up with bows and armor and stuff. I think at the moment it's only set up to expel bows. Yeah, okay, so any type, it's a fuzzy export bus, so any type of bows, doesn't matter if they're damaged to a particular level or anything like that. Any of them will get exported straight into the trash can. And yeah, that's just saves on space in the chest. I don't need a bunch of damaged bows. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, the other thing I did, you'll see this as being, the blue light here means that it's being powered from the logistics pipes network. That's true because of this provider pipe. I've connected it up via this pipe here to the rest of the LP network, and the reason for that is because I wanted to be able to access the mob spawns from in here. You can see I've got arrows, string. That's not actually all the gunpowder in the mob spawner, some of that's actually in the dust chest in the storage room. Ender pearls, spider eyes, bones and what have you are all accessible via the request pipe now, which is cool. Yeah, there's some gunpowder in here, I believe. Somewhere, maybe? Yeah, there it is, just a little bit. And I changed this was the default chest where, you know, if stuff didn't have a place to go, it would go here. I changed that because I was filling it up with all sorts of rubbish. Just stuff that, like, it actually did have a chest, but it was being filled up. So this one here used to be the one from the sludge boiler, so any like clay and you know, hardened dirt and hardened sand and what have you went in there. A lot of this stuff, dried dirt and what have you. I think these are actually disconnected now from memory. Just check that. Yeah, it's okay. So nothing goes in these chests anymore, but I just haven't moved stuff out of them. Okay, well, I've moved those ones. So yeah, this filled up. So then I split it up and I put like dirt type stuff in here and sand stuff in here and what's that? I think that was clay. And yeah, in the end I went, okay, well, let's just clear. We'll get rid of this. And we'll get rid of these, and we'll just build this. So this is like a mini ME network. It's powered from the LP network. I put a 64K disk in it to begin with, and then there's two 16K ones just in case that fills up. It'll be a while before it does, I think. But yeah, so there's some stuff doesn't go in here. I've got gravel going here. I don't think there's anything that actually produces gravel. I think this is just stuff that I've picked up from previous mining and what have you. But and from when I was crushing cobblestone to make sand to make glass, which I don't think I've done that in a while. But yeah, so that's just the occasional creation of this has created 8 stacks of the stuff. So. But yeah, so this is stuff produced. A lot of the stuff in here is stuff produced from the sludge boiler. Some of it is stuff from mining. Some of it is, yeah, like there's oak saplings from the tree farm, and there's a whole lot of wool and feathers from the farm. I've got a what's it called? Rancher machine, I think, out here. This thing. So he's constantly shearing and plucking feathers from these guys. I've left the grinder on from the cow farm, so this won't fill up with cows, which keeps the lag down, which is good. It also has a constant supply of beef and leather, so it'll probably end up, I don't know, I might have to alternate that turning on and off at some point. I don't know, I haven't decided. This thing's slowly filling this barrel with beef. I don't know, I'll probably end up voiding beef after a while. The other reason I want it is to create mob essence, because the grinder produces mob essence from the cows that it kills. So down here I've got a tank. This is the initial, oh there we go. Yeah, alright, so it does occasionally spawn stuff. Yeah, this is the initial beginnings of a liquids room. So I've got some mob essence in here, nearly 200 buckets worth. This is seed oil, not seed oil, fruit juice. This is a fruit juice collection here. It's empty. The reason for that is because I'm producing biomass with this fermenter here. The main reason I wanted fruit juice to go into a tank, here we go, there's a little bit there, was because I had a massive excess of apples. It was just ridiculous how many apples I had because I wasn't using them. So I figured we'll turn it into a liquid, at least it's a bit more manageable that way. And yeah, that's basically getting converted using saplings in this fermenter into biomass. 688 buckets worth of that. And the biomass is actually building up now because it was being converted into ethanol, but it is no longer being converted. This still is here, so basically something to do with the biomass because that builds up pretty quick. And then the excess seeds, I had a massive excess of seeds, so I've got a seed oil collection here, just it takes excess. That doesn't go back into the farm. And yeah, so the tree farm works pretty well full time. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you this. So this is my attempt to try to negate losses of power when I'm using lots of it. I do actually produce a fair bit of power. 2 steam boilers is a fairly significant amount of power, but the problem with it, I find, is that I'm using lots of power. That laser drill just uses tons of power, just stupid amounts of power. So while I do have a net increase of power overall when I'm just doing odds and ends, it's if I do anything significant, like run this magma crucible here full time to make obsidian, it starts to drain a lot. Yeah, so I mean it's manageable. Like I can leave it on for a fair while, but you'll see I don't have, like, this is still going up. This has been going up for a while, and this kind of gets trickle excess because to me it seems like this guy in the back, the redstone energy cell, gets the lion's share of the power. It gets a lot of the power. So this will only accept 400, but if what's going in is significantly more, it tends to go to the redstone energy cell, I find, anyway. At the moment, this is filling quite nicely because the other thing's full. But yeah, so that this solar thing on the top is an extra utilities solar generator. They're pretty cool actually. They've got a quirk that I like. Makes it kind of, it's a good balance. It can only gain power or release power. It won't do both at the same time. So it won't generate power while it's transmitting it into a conduit. You use a redstone signal to convert it from one to the other. So when you apply a redstone signal, it transmits the energy out of its buffer. You'll see at the moment it's actually full. It's because this conduit, like it's going to that cell down there that only accepts 400 per tick, and it tends not to empty before it needs to fill again. So, because how I've got it set up is daylight sensor detects daylight, puts out a redstone signal through a NOT gate, which is basically this thing here. It's a standard vanilla NOT gate with a block and a redstone torch. So this alternates. So when there's a signal here, there's no signal here. So basically, if it's daytime, the signal is off and it will collect, and when it's nighttime, there's no signal here, so there's a signal here which applies a redstone signal to the generator, which means that this will start emptying into the conduit and filling the hardened cell that feeds the farm down here. So it's basically just an extra source of power. It does a pretty good job. Like it's an extra 400 per tick, I think. So, well, I assume. I think I don't know actually, but I think it can accept 400 from each side. Maybe that's not true. Maybe it's only 400, so it might only be trickle feeding it because it's getting stuff from the steam boiler as well. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I should test that. Let's do that. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's dropping massively, isn't it? So but what's happening upstairs is that oh, because it's in collection mode. Okay, so when the sun finishes going down and this thing turns on, which it should do in a sec, you'll see this light turn on when the sun's finished. I don't know. I think it should actually, yeah, there we go. Okay, so that will go down. Eventually that will hit 0 and then the light will turn on. I'm tempted just to leave that because there's a bit of power in there. We'll just see what happens. Okay, so that is, it's going down. So yeah, I need to rip out a lot of chests in my storage room. Oh, there we go. Look, see, it's changed. Okay, so then it has like a 5 second countdown, I think, or a 10-second countdown, and it starts emptying this. Now with the steam boiler disconnected, that will probably actually dump everything out. Maybe, I don't know. Is it going up or down? Do you think? Looks like it's still going down. I wouldn't have thought it would still go down. That's a bit odd. It's very strange. I'll put that back and let it go up, because we can't have that run out. If that cell drops out completely, the farm basically stops, which we don't want. I'm curious to know why that isn't working so well, because it should at least be doing its 400 per tick. Maybe the actual generator itself can't transmit at 400 per tick. Maybe that's what's going on. Yeah, it looks like it's a lot less. Maybe it's like 20 per tick or something. Well, I might be able to get up to 400 per tick if I get a few of these here. They're actually not too hard to produce either. I'll show you the recipe. Solar generator, here we go. So they're not that bad to make. It's a block of diamond, but I'll show you why I'm not worried about a block of diamond. Because laser drill makes getting diamonds really easy. I have 174 diamonds. So yeah, I'm not worried about a block of diamond. So yeah, I could set up a few of these. If I move this maybe back here and have a row across here. Or just, yeah, have like one there, have like 5 in here. Maybe a few there. You can like join them all together and maybe get enough so that it charges up the cell every night. And then I shouldn't need the steam boiler connected to this. It'll be like its own separate system. Could be an idea. Maybe I'll do that. Oh yeah, I managed to get a couple of Safari nets going too. So whenever I run out of ender pearls, if I've used all the ender pearls in the ME chest over there at the mob farm, I can just produce a whole bunch. It only takes a few seconds and you get a ton of them. So yeah, that's what I did there. The slime one. Initially, I was going to do the same thing I did a while back. When these things first came out, you could use Safari nets to produce slimes in an auto spawner, and you'd get the big slimes, and the grinder would grind them up and then die and become smaller slimes, like what normally happens when you find a slime. And because of that, you'd get several dumpings of mob essence per slime because they're multiple entities. But it seems that that's changed. I tried it out. I put that in the auto spawner, and it was only like it was killing the slime, and you wouldn't get smaller ones. Like as if they've gone out of their way to make it so you can't. There's no like duping of the mob essence or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't actually aware that they were going to do that because it seemed like it's kind of fair. I thought you got multiple creatures there, so you should get multiple mob essences. But apparently that's I don't know. I guess they wanted to balance it a bit more. No idea. Yeah. So can't use the slime to do that, unfortunately. So I'm relying on the dark room and the cow farm for mob essence. Okay, well that filled up. mostly. It's good. I'm pretty happy I can run both these little mini ME systems off the LP network, and it's not draining this out. Like, this is staying pretty well charged. It's not draining too much out of this, which is good. And it seems to be a pretty good way of doing it too. Like, they provide good storage, and you can still access everything from the request pipe. So if you've got an established logistics pipe network and you don't want to rip everything out to change, your entire system, you don't really have to. You can set up mini ME networks. Like, I could set up a bunch of disk drives along here. It would all be accessible from the terminal, and the whole thing is providing to the network. So any system out there that requires, I don't know, mud bricks to make the blocks, then it will still provide through this interface here. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So this basic pipe is that's now default route in here. So that provides a place for things that don't have a place. And this thing here is your provider pipe, so it provides everything back out to the network as needed. So that's why I did that. I left these here because I didn't really want to fill this up completely. Like, the 64 stack limit on things like gravel and beef is pretty fair, I thought. I've still got my dirt chest active. Always stores 1 stack of dirt. Everything else I figure I don't need more than that. I'm not collecting dirt in here. Dirt is actually still connected to this. So if you look in here, terminus module on a trash can. Things like gravel. So when the gravel barrel fills up, it's going to go into the trash can. Wood still has a wood chest over here. In here. So if this is full, can't store any more wood, it just goes in the trash can. And all those other things that are in here do that as well. Like, I never want more than that 1 stack of dirt. I'm going to constantly produce dirt in the sludge boiler, so producing any more than 1 stack is silly, I think. Sand, constantly producing sand. You don't need any more than I don't know. Actually, you know what? I think sand is actually collecting in here. Yeah, it is. So I probably don't need to do that. I should probably set sand up to go in a box somewhere, and then, or a barrel or something, and then when it is full, then it can go in the trash can. Because, I mean, no one needs 800 things of sand, in my opinion. And if anyone wants to know what I'm going to do with all those mud bricks, I'm thinking of using it for basement stuff. I mean, it's a constant supply. I've probably actually got more mud bricks than stone bricks, so maybe down here I'll build like mud brick rooms instead. Use it for like maybe extending the liquids room or something. I don't know. And I've got plenty of that like hardened dirt and sand and stuff, and clay. Look, check out how much clay there is. I mean, seriously, I can make hardened clay. It's like nearly 3,000 clay blocks. I can make hardened clay rooms, like decorate them or whatever. So, for a builder, I've got materials for all sorts of cool stuff, which is good. So I'll probably do something with that. But yeah, not sure what my next step will be. I was considering maybe expanding this. I still haven't got a gravity gun. Maybe I should do that. Now that I've got ender pearls, I can make a gravity gun and go get one of those blaze spawner, natural blaze spawners from age 4. I should probably do that too. This wall along here, this is just the powering of the still, the fermenter, and the squeezer, and that's the squeezer for the apples. This one over here is a squeezer for the seed oil, and connected to all those is the logistic pipe network. So this supplies apples. That's just an intersection point, the one there. This one supplies mulch and oak saplings. Yeah, this thing here. So mulch goes in there, oak saplings go in there. There's a fluid duct in the front that supply the... No, not in the front. in the bottom here supplies the fruit juice, and then in the bottom of this tank biomass comes out and goes into the still, so that's pretty easy. Seed oil I actually don't have going anywhere yet. That'll be for future forestry stuff. I'm going to use it for bees. Still don't know where I'm going to put the bees. I'm thinking maybe over here. It doesn't really need access to power, so maybe like out here next to this. This is the Mistcraft room, which has no access to the power conduits at all. Doesn't require it, so probably out here would be good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at where the chunk loader loads and maybe do it next to that. I guess I'll put it out here next to the farm. That wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I don't know, but I haven't got to building any of that stuff yet. I do have some bee stuff collected, like ready to use over here. I've kind of been procrastinating a bit with this, so I'll have to get to that at some point. It might be worth even doing some tree breeding and getting like better supply of apples for biomass production. Then I could set up a second or a third steam boiler to run on ethanol or something. Don't know, not sure yet. But yeah, this thing was pretty cool. The solar generator, I thought it was pretty nice. Not too expensive, and it's pretty easy to run. So I'll probably do some more of that. But that's my Tinker's Construct room. You may have noticed I've got a Tinker's Axe here. So yeah, I thought it was about time I made a decent axe, pickaxe rather. So that's up here. Yeah, connected to lava supply. Gotta move all these up here. Good place to keep everything. Got a few things in here. So yeah. Handy to the workshop right above, so that's about it. That's pretty much what I've been up to. I'm sort of in between build jobs, so I haven't really decided. I didn't have anything prepared to actually build on camera, but that's kind of what I'm up to. So yeah. So I'll hope you enjoyed the bit of a tour on updates. I'll see if I can find something fun to carry on with now, and maybe I'll record it, depending on if it's interesting or not. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.